Hello, fellow humans. Chris here again. So, today I wanted to talk about Ukraine and the World Health Organization. I've mentioned in the past that I don't really like to talk about foreign policy, especially foreign conflicts, too much because of the massive amount of variables that go into it, and there's an element of the unknown, all that. So, I tend to stay away from that for the most part, but I did want to comment briefly on the World Health Organization released some statements regarding COVID and how the Russian invasion of Ukraine is actually creating a potential super spreader situation. The reason why I want to bring that up is because I've heard some pushback on local radio stations, people who are pretty much anti-COVID, as in anti-COVID being real, saying that this is just extremely insensitive to the people of Ukraine, how it is minimizing the crisis as it is, with a country occupying another country, and sort of just taking away from the seriousness of it. Now, on the surface, I guess I could see how you would think that, especially if you didn't think that COVID was serious already. I could see how you'd think, okay, yeah, there's a real crisis happening there, a tangible crisis. Kids are being separated from their parents, people are getting killed, civilians are taking up arms themselves to defend their country, and here you are talking about a global pandemic as if that's important. The thing is, reality and war and emergency situations, crises and things like that, they don't care about sensitivity. They don't care about how is this going to sound. And you know what? The people in Ukraine right now really don't care about insensitivity. They really don't care what the WHO has to say about super spreader events. How something makes you feel as a privileged American watching what's going on over there across the ocean really doesn't matter, and it doesn't change the reality. The reality is there's a crisis going on, and that's also a reality that there is a global pandemic going on. And it is also a reality that the massive influx of Russian occupying forces can and probably will contribute to a spread of COVID cases. That doesn't take away from the inherent crisis involved in a country occupying another country. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. To address one negative situation with a possible bad outcome does not negate the other part of the situation that makes this a crisis. And in fact, if we take away the assessment of it being insensitive for a second, what does it do for your feelings about Ukraine? Not the WHO, okay? Let's say you're anti-World Health Organization, you're anti-Dr. Fauci, right? You don't like them. You think that they're political hacks. You think that they're just trying to push an agenda down our throats, okay? Fine. Let's just take that out of the equation. You, as an American, as a sympathetic American who cares so deeply about the people in Ukraine, so much so that you are taking to the air to talk about how horrible it is and sending your thoughts and prayers to them, if you add in the fact that there's a global pandemic and that the occupying forces are also bringing potentially disease into the citizens of Ukraine, does that lessen your sympathy for them, or does it increase it? If you care about the people of Ukraine and you want humanitarian effort to go to them, if you want NATO to step in, if you want even Americans maybe to send over money to help out, if you believe in all that, wouldn't acknowledging the additional threat of COVID actually help improve your chances and likelihood of contributing to that problem? Sometimes we let our biases about something, in this case COVID, kind of conceal the fact that these things don't separate each other. You know, it's a humanitarian crisis, and it's also a global pandemic. It's both of those things. You don't have to choose one or the other. When an emergency happens, there is a lot of X factors that can play into it and make the situation worse. And as emergency responders, we have to assess all of that. And sometimes you have to do some multitasking. I don't see how simply acknowledging the fact that, wow, COVID is also still a thing and is posing a threat to people, how that hurts privileged people like us, our chances or motivations for helping them. It shouldn't. So instead of being upset at the WHO's insensitivity, which is not, they don't do anything to be sensitive or insensitive. They're just sharing the facts. Maybe use that motivation to do something yourself and step in and provide aid if you're so able to. Because facts don't care about your feelings, right? Anyway, I will check in with you all again soon. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, don't be afraid to question the consensus.